Hello everyone and welcome to another bite-sized bat rep in which we focus on the tactics and not the dice rolling. Today we have the brand new Custodes detachment taking on the brand new Orks detachment. But what will prevail? Let's find out. Here is 2,000 points of the line of the Emperor. We have got two shield captains, Alaris style, one of which has got the lone up and stealth enhancement, and one of which has, of course, got the get back up on a 2-up. For battle line, we've got 2 units of 4 Custodian Guard, one with Draxus, because of course. We've got 4 little Witch Seekers for early game, kind of scouting and doing actions. We've got 4 Wardens with the Blade Champion for the advance and charge goodness. We've got 5 Alaris Terminators, and we all know what they're doing. They're going to be unleashing some lions. We've then got the incredibly meta choice of 2 units of 3 bikes with salvo launchers. And then this chap, well, it looks a bit different, I know. This is in fact a Custodes assassin. I managed to leave mine at home, but doesn't he look pretty?
Right guys, and as you can see here, we've got the Orks in the more Dakka detachment. So this unit here, they have a shock attack gun leading them. They're in a truck. Then we've got 5 burners in a truck. Then we've got 3, these are meant to be bubble chuckers. They will just be whatever they need to be, led by a very old shock attack gun. And then we've got 10 looters led by shock attack gun. Then we've got Gazgul leading 5 mega knobs. So that's going to be a bit of a nasty tar pit to deal with. Sneaky boss Snickrot. Then we've got a beast boss with some beast snagger boys. 2 units of 5 storm boys. We've got 2 units of 10 Gretchen. Then we've got a 20 led by Zogrod Watchsnagger. And then 10 pesky commandos.
Today's mission is linchpin on tipping point mission deployment, and we've also got fog of war. In terms of deployment for the Custodes, we have got we've got a lovely little unit here of guards and wardens. They're positioned here with my Custodes assassin and bikes ready to kind of potentially throw it into its natural expansion. Here we've got the Witch Seekers who are hoping to scout forward. Whether that will be allowed, we'll have to find out. 3 bikers here, and then finally on this flank we have got some more guardsmen with Kyria Draxus looking to secure this, and then we've also got the lone op Terminator. The reason I've got my lone ops on either flank is in case we draw containment turn 1. But what about the Ork?
Right, so here's some Ork deployment for you. We've got some grots here in the back just to step forward if they needed to. In front is Zogrod's big unit. They are specifically positioned this way so that they are able to go 9 inches backwards, safely into this ruin in their scout move. If not, they can go forward and just threaten this big kind of centre point. Snickrot's here just to try to stop the scouting, to keep them suppressed so I can move forward a bit more. Then we've got Gazgul and his lovely Mega Knob retinue staging this room ready to go pressure the centre, with the big unit of looters led by a shock attack gun with the possible to hit, sat in this lovely yellow truck. Then we've got the unit 5 in the smaller truck here, but it's kind of staged in a way, if you look, where the ruins kind of cross over. So his threat range on most of his shooting is only 24, so it's relatively safe there. So it does look a bit open, but it's actually okay. Then we've got the beast snagger boys in the other truck. That's there ready so it can just zip down the side and just kind of pressure on the natural expansion, with the grots then stepping forward and hopefully tapping the point and going, this is ours, and also can we have some free CP, please? And then just to help keep it nice and tucked in and safe, we've got the unit of commandos tucked in on the objective ready, just so that there isn't anyone trying to just drop in. So trying to kind of keep them at distance, but we'll see how it goes. Now let's go on to the first turns, I guess.
Okay, so end of Custodes movement phase, turn 1. We've got engage on all front and establish locus. Engage, no thank you. Establish, we've just sent the girls out here, so they're positioned, they're establishing locus. They can overwatch a movement here, they could overwatch something there if they so wish. On this side of the board, these guys have lined up shots into here. These guys position themselves beautifully to defend with a heroic intervention. And I remember we're playing Fog of War, and that does not matter. Over here, we have got the Bites position just behind. We've got Draxus and sort Co just positioned there. And over here, we've got a Lone Op guy and a Lone Op guy here, or the Calidus, just for potential containments later. Going to do a little bit of shooting. Pew! Hopefully. And then we'll let you know how it goes. Much excitement. All 3 hit, 2 wounded, 1 save on a 6-up. Bosh did a cheeky 5 damage. The crowd went wild. And now it's up to Orcs to start the advance.
Alright, so the Orcs have got Secure No Man's Land and Assassinate. So let's see how that gets on. So what I've done here is I've moved the commandos out into the centre here. So the idea being is they can try to throw the Squig Bomb, which I haven't rolled yet, into the bikers. If they then decide to react to move away, I can still make a charge into the sisters in the middle, just to be a bit of a pressure there. I've moved these grots up ready, because obviously for Secure No Man's Land, I need to hold 2 in No Man's Land. And then we've got the Beastnagger Boys truck has just tucked in. I've put the guy just above, just so I know where it is. Gazgul and his friends have kind of tucked in down here, just ready for staging for when the war is called. The big grot unit, I spent a CP on them, so they've actually advanced and gone into the war for a CP as well, just so they can go forward, and they're going to just try to pin in that side a little bit more. It means that then the big truck's kind of got here ready. It's tucked in a little bit so that it can get cover if it needs it for angles, but otherwise they're also there just so that if they get out there and kind of need to cut angles, they'll get all the areas that potentially Chris could be positioning stuff. And then finally, the last 10 grots have tucked in down here, trying to cover this corner so that the assassin doesn't come down and try to pressure my home objective. But let's see how it gets on with the rest of the turn. Right, so after the Orcs shooting, the commandos shot at the 3 bikes. They're now down to 2 and a bit. Well, less than 2. They then reacted, moved away. The looter big brick over this side shot at the sisters in the middle and absolutely obliterated them, which was just cute. Zolgrod's unit are just not going to charge. They're staying there. Their theory being is they're in the war. They're a bit more defensive. If Chris brings anything out to shoot them, great, or charge them, great, because then I can shoot them. I scored behind Secure No Man's Land, but I didn't do Assassinate, so I'll bin that for a CP, and we'll go to Chris's turn 2.
Start of Custodes turn 2, and we've drawn Secure No Man's Land and behind enemy lines. And this is how the battlefield looks. So the plan is we're going to try and slowly whittle down the Orcs before slamming it later. So we've got these guys, and these guys are hopefully just going to take out this area. Over here, we position these guys just within range of him to shoot at him, and hopefully pick him up. They can double shoot if they have to, but hopefully not. Behind enemy lines, I don't want to get down on secondary points, so Mr. Calidus is here. Really, you can flamer in there or something, I don't know, treat himself, but we're getting some behind enemy line points. So the idea here is that we've just screened out the edges from the weird bubble chucker guns that are weirdly terrifying me, and we will then just kind of wait for what comes, because Skuro is still quite far back. You know, it was tempting to move this bike unit here, shoot in here, charge in there, kill like 5 grots and feel sad about it. That was tempting to do, but if I don't kill that, then the looters and everything just picks up the bikes. And I'm not entirely sure just yet what the right plays are, but for now I'm doing my normal thing of hiding. So, let's see how it goes. Custodes turn 2 is over, and how did it go? Well, it went exactly as planned. They were not very good at shooting, but they did just enough, so over here, goodbye. Over here, all it took was Draxus. Never used Draxus before. She's quite good, isn't she? Bye-bye named character. And Snickrot, sorry, Snickrot. And over here, I forgot to fire, then I did, and I rolled 1 on the flamer. So 1 poor grot is currently melted. So the turn was achieved as I wanted it. Was it the right turn, though? Let's find out as we head into Orcs turn 2.
Right, so as you can see, we've got Storm Hostile Objective and Engage on all fronts. So let's see the state of play at the end of the movement phase. So, got some Storm Boys helping screen out a little bit, which then means that Chris has had to drop over there. The big grot unit has gone for the old run. Oh, by the way, I did declare the big war, So everything is advancing and charging. Lots of fun little tricks to have there. So as you can see, Zogrot's grot units on here. So the idea being storm hostile objective just by bodying, by being on there. The big truck with the big looter unit has come down just to kind of cut an angle at that unit to try to kind of mitigate them. And then over here, the beast snagger boys with the beast boss have kind of run forward, hopefully trying to get rid of these two bikes, knowing that they're probably going to have these big golden boys come smashing in. The grots are staying here just holding the objective. Their truck has gone back just to help screen back. Same with Makari over there. The grots over there have just done their thing of just kind of staring at the assassin going, we don't know what to do. Let's see if I can pick up some of the golden boys now. Right, so we stormed our hostile objective and we engaged on all fronts. So as you can see, the big looter brick somehow managed to, by the skin of its teeth, the shock attack gun had 3 things explode. So there was a lot of attacks. He ended up doing 10 with like 4 shots. It was really good. And then the looters themselves just popped off as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing 3 units of these in every list. The grots didn't then charge because they're smart. And then the 2 bikes, funnily enough, did not really like being hit by the beast boss and some friends. So yeah, all in all, pretty successful. The big drop of Terminators is now in that corner, so I'm a little worried about them, but they're all the way back there. So let's see how it gets on in battle round 3.
So, top of 3 for the Custodes, we've got Cull the Horde, hello grots, and extend battle lines. So, Scrivo obviously showed the unwithering firepower of the mighty looters, but it's okay, he's now come out to play, and you know what Custodes like to do? Slap things in the face. So, the guards have come out here, we're going to deal with this, and then Thrishan around here. These guys have popped out. We've got some shooting and charging options there. They are also in range of the looters. The bikes have come over towards the looters. We do not like said looters. The Alaris, the whole point of this list is that they are designed to unleash the lions. However, my thinking is here, what I'm going to do is I've moved them out so that most of them can make the most of their blast profiles. We're just going to hammer this squad till it does nothing, and then we're going to charge this guy separated out. We're going to come in here, along with the shield captain. We're just going to try and kill them for Cull the Horde. Hope Scrivo doesn't make a load of 5-ups. Scrivo has rapid ingress in there. That's fun. These guys get to double shoot, so maybe we'll be able to shoot down there and pop a couple, pop one if we double fire, who knows. And I had a decision with the Custodes, did I pick her up or not? And actually I decided if my turn goes according to plan, basically at the end of the turn, that's all pretty much dead. This will mostly be dead, depending on what I roll on my flamer. This will be dead, this will be dead, and that will be dead. That's the attempted goal here. If that happens, then where does Gaz go? Does he go across here to try and deal with the middle? Does he come across here to try and deal with that? Does he end up going back to his home field? Probably not. So that's why I kept the Custodes here. This is a turn, if goes well, puts Custodes in a pretty positive position. I've got some good cards. It could be a 10-point secondary turn. If it goes according to plan, Scrivo is going to have a really bad time trying to come back into the game because he just won't have many units left. If it goes badly, then sad times. How does it go, though? Let's find out. The Custodes had a plan. What a plan it was. The sheer destruction of the Orcs. But how did it go? Well, almost perfectly. Almost perfectly. As you can see, all the looters are dead. This son of a gun, basically this guy decided to roll no wound rolls. So that guy just survived somehow. When I finally started remembering sustained in combat, they all eviscerated. Here's quite annoying. Because I killed all the grots, but I left Zogrod on 1 wound, who then one-shot my shield captain. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, so I didn't pop the return damage to 1. Then he failed all his 4-ups, so, you know, that's fun. The Alaris I deliberately didn't split them, and all their shooting wiped out nearly all the looters, so that was good. And over there, the Custodes assassin is fighting the good fight against some grots. So a pretty good turn for us, especially for points. So I'm getting Cull the Horde and I'm getting, extend. So good for points. And now can John at the bottom of 3 come and hit back hard enough? Because if he doesn't, I then just push through the board. So this is a big turn for John coming up. Dead.
Right, so Orcs 10-3, we've got containment and extend battle lines. So Gork or Mork is really, really looking after me in this game. So Met guns have gone for a little, let me just zoom out, make it a bit easy for you. They've scuttled across because they move so slow, just so they can cut a line on those guard on his home objective. Hopefully they'll deal with him, but you never know what the bubbles are. Then the looters have come out their truck, just cutting an angle so they can see the bikes if they need to, but also see here. This truck has come out to do containment because it's very useful. The grots are just staying where they need to. This truck's just not doing much. I've put for a CP the war on Gaz and his mates, so they can either charge the bikes or come over here. I think I've ignored the bikes now because I think coming over here will be more useful. Spent a CP to make those grots run away and auto pass their battle shock, so they're just on the objective being a pain because that Calidus assassin is going to be a nightmare. And then this boy rolled an 11 on his battle shock, so he was fine. He's just scuttled off just to be a pain in the backside. So if he wants to kill him, great. If not, we'll see. But let's see how my shooting pops off. Obviously, without the looters and that crutch, I'm going to struggle a bit, but we shall see at the end of turn. Right, so containment was secured, and extend battle lines was secured, but interestingly enough, the shooting from these mech guns did a little bit, but unfortunately I got the wrong bubbles. I had little bubbles which weren't so useful, and then whiffed on the big bubble I did get on the third gun, but it is what it is. Gaz made the 8-inch charge with a 9 and managed to a wound get the unit down. Unfortunately the shield captain's still there and it's probably going to clap back a bit much. The shock attack gun here had 3 6s on the damage. He's the one with the dev wounds enhancement, so he obliterated the bikes, and yeah, otherwise everything's going to plan. It's looking pretty comfortable, but got to handle turn 4 clapback.
Right, okay. Having felt so confident last time, Custodes are now feeling not so confident. Didn't survive the clapback. John had good cards, which has pulled ahead. Bottom of turn. Feels like Custodes need a bit of a miracle now. Already can see some things I've done wrong in this game, but we'll talk about in the debrief. Anyway, these guys just popped in here. We're just going to try and kill them because they'll take forever to get here. But there's no way I can hide from them. Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. I unleashed the lions over here, so we've advanced to all of them. But they've got assault guns, so we can shoot and try and clear stuff off. We're going to try and get assassinate over there on 1 minute Zogrod. Knock him off the home objective there. Desperate escaped here. Just about managed it. So he's hopped over athletically. He's going to try and chop up the grots. Just trying desperately to deny some primary. But yeah, the death knell is tolling for the Custodes, I'm afraid. All right, Custodes' turn is over. The little things, unfortunately, which statistically were quite unlikely, the big swing didn't quite happen. So we did clear him off the home field. The plan was to try and give him a 0. These 3 guys shooting split into here just didn't roll any 5s to wound really. So we weren't able to clear this out and knock him off that objective. I advanced them, also no charging. Blade Champion needed one more dice to kill that and that final grot and knock him off there, but not to be even after a CP reroll. So yeah, he still holds that. So actually, instead of getting 0, he gets like a 4 or whatever. So not quite enough damage. And as you can see from the scoreboard, we're a bit behind, and it's not looking likely that I'll be able to pull back with having top of turn. Okay guys, so we have actually fast-tracked the final few turns, just because we didn't have a huge amount left. And as you can see, it is a small-ish win to the mighty Orcs. How are you feeling, sir?
I feel like sustained 2 on shooting is a bit much. But I'm enjoying that. That was fun.
It's fun for everyone, really. Yeah, absolutely. I think with Custodes, there's obviously that hope that you can survive. And then there was, in fact, absolutely no hope that any unit out in the open being shot by looters or shock attack guns was going to survive. Brutal. I definitely made some mistakes. I left the push a bit too late. I mean, at the end of the game, Squirrel's got slightly more left on the board than myself. As you can see from scoreboard, things kind of just ticked along slightly more to Scrivo in terms of like holding a primary, holding a secondary, just to pull it away. He had a slight primary edge, a slight secondary edge. There are a few things where I just got maybe the ordering and the priority slightly wrong. First time using the army, but get punished, and that was brutal. How do you think the game went from your perspective?
It made me appreciate the power of what the units do, because on paper you look and go, cool, that can do a lot. But when it goes off, like we had the situation where one shock attack gun just did it all himself, and then the looters just stood there going, well, we're just shooting at dead stuff. And that feels pretty scary. We're filming this where tomorrow it's the GT that we're hosting, and there is people taking 3 units of those looters, plus 3 units of tank busters. That looks terrifying. It looks very terrifying, and it's just going to delete stuff, and I look forward to doing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, you don't understand how a unit could survive it.
No.
It's, as soon as they start rolling those 6s, it's just so many shots. The looters with the full rerolls, if you're sat on an objective, is pretty powerful, I think it'd be fair to say. I think the new Custodian detachment is like really interesting. It's got a few tricks. I think you probably play it a bit better. I think you have to play it well to like get good mileage out of it. I know during the game there were a couple of things that I was definitely like, no, got that wrong, should have gone in a different direction, or I ordered my units wrong. Probably a big thing was the Gretchen running onto the middle, or to my natural expansion objective. What I could have done was moved out the bikes, charged into the Gretchen, blocked them all off, just held that space. And then if the bikes died, that's fine, because the bikes are actually worse in this game than the Custodian Guard. I want the Custodian Guard, because I want their shooting and I want their attacks. They're just as many attacks. The bikes were pretty meh, to be honest. Who knew? So, if I was improving this list, I think just more groups of units of Custodian Guard or Blade Guard is probably the way forward. You could put on UKTC, you could put the Grav tanks in as well. But yeah, very fun game. We will catch you again very soon. As always, if you've enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe,
hit that bell,
all the good stuff. And there'll be more stuff coming from us at the GT. But the GT would have already happened when you're watching this. So
time travel!
Who won? Who knows?
Orcs.
Probably. See you next time.